concern even than dollars misspent. As you know, Mr. Horowitz, you know in Fast and Furious, the Obama administration willfully and deliberately broke the law and conspired to move guns that they knew went to Mexico and other criminal activities. More than 2,000 weapons were sold to straw people knowingly. Now, if anyone other than the federal government does it, that's a crime. When the federal government does it, the question is, do they track the crimes they facilitate? Where would I find a list of all the criminal activities done or facilitated by the two gentlemen to your left?
Well, the actions that were authorized, presumably by the individuals handling the informants, I don't know of a system where they're reporting.
Órale, bienvenidos y welcome to the Outlaw News. The voice of the barrio, the voice of the Vato Loco, the voice of the voiceless. Que pasa, cyber raza? Outlaw Posse, did you come suited and booted today with your critical thinking beanies on, right? Because today, you're gonna need them. If you guys are ready, let's do it.
I want to transition to some other corruption right now because new details are emerging about the FBI's involvement in this plot, remember last year, to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So the group accused of the plot claims the FBI orchestrated every aspect of the plan. At least 12 confidential FBI informants, 12, assisted in this investigation into this extremist group, and some acting under the direction of the FBI. They took leading roles in the scheme. This Iraq war veteran, he was an informant, and he became so deeply enmeshed in this Michigan militant group that he became second in command there.
Prior to the 2020 presidential election, the federal government indicted a group of right-wing individuals who apparently during their daily pot smoking sessions planned to kidnap Wisconsin Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Prosecutors alleged a plot to kidnap a sitting governor from her vacation home in hopes of disrupting the presidential race and maybe even sparking a civil war.
Well, the bizarre Michigan Governor Whitmer kidnapping plot and conspiracy trial ended with no convictions earlier this month, on Friday the 8th of April, delivering another blow and career stain on the government prosecutors, as they failed once again to convince a jury, a group of 4 men who were would-be domestic terrorists determined to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer because of her COVID-19 restrictions, hoping to set off and encourage a civil uprising and similar copycat kidnappings of politicians to delay and even prevent the 2020 presidential election. The alleged plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer was made public October 7, 2020, just prior to the presidential election.
Preparing for a violent assault on the Michigan governor's summer home. Members of the Wolverine Watchmen, a militia group that allegedly had a plan in place last year to kidnap and potentially kill the Michigan governor.
Federal indictments led to the arrest of 13 individuals who didn't even know each other, but said allegedly to and painted out to be by media some network of splinter right-wing extremist cell group who intended to carry out some Cheech and Chong-like kidnapping plot of Wisconsin Governor Whitmer to protect then President Donald Trump's presidency. A jury earlier this month acquitted Daniel Harris on all counts, and Brandon Caserta was acquitted on 1 count of kidnap conspiracy. And the jury was also deadlocked on charges against Adam Fox and Barry Croft, declaring a mistrial.
A jury in Michigan found 2 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer not guilty today and failed to reach a verdict against 2 others.
The group's 2 co-defendants, Ty Garvin and Caleb Franks, both who cut deals, pleaded guilty and testified against the former militia pals, will be rewarded for their lies in court by serving short 6-year prison sentences on some special protective custody for dummies who got caught lying in court prison yard.
Keenan, Alicia, you may remember Garvin was the first and only conviction in this high-profile case so far. He's one of 6 men charged federally with kidnapping conspiracy, 14 men altogether charged in this alleged kidnapping plot. He'll face a judge this afternoon at 4 p.m. in the Western District. Prosecutors want Ty Garbin behind bars for 9 years for his role in the kidnapping plot against Governor Whitmer. The government is seeking a lesser sentence than they could, given that Garbin cooperated with the feds within weeks of his arrest, giving investigators an inside view of the plot.
While the other defendants, who didn't fall for the prosecutor's false promises and manipulation, get their charges dismissed. Out of the original 13 individuals arrested in the so-called alleged plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer, only 6 of them were actual defendants in the plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The other individuals were individuals that were caught in smaller stings by the same informants that were used in this case. But the government rounded them all up together to give the image of a much larger conspiracy to sell to us, the public.
The video was taken during a militia live fire exercise in southern Wisconsin. According to the latest court filing, federal agents had enlisted 12 confidential informants to provide information about Barry Croft, frequently seen in a colonial-era three-cornered hat, and other members of the Wolverine Watchmen, a militia group.
The 4 defendants in the kidnapping plot of Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the legal defense, claimed the FBI's undercover informant and agents actually were the masterminds, financial supporters, constant influencers, and encouraging hype men who actually orchestrated and concocted the supposed plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer in the first place. Apparently, the 4 men on trial for their lives and reputation were able to convince the jury they were just a group of confused and stoned wannabe social media patriot Trumpers who were befriended by some undercover snitch influencer provocateur who encouraged and financed them to take their stoner comic book Grand Theft Auto basement fantasies to another level, a common practice often used by informant provocateurs and apparently encouraged by their handlers as well.
Social media posts led the FBI to arrest a man and a woman in Northwest Ohio whom they call would-be terrorists, though they have no apparent connection. Authorities say 23-year-old Elizabeth Lacron wanted to kill. Under arrest for buying black powder and hundreds of screws for undercover agents they said she thought would be used to make pipe bombs. 21-year-old Damon Joseph planned to attack a Toledo area synagogue, says the FBI. The ISIS supporter was arrested after receiving 2 semi-automatic rifles from an undercover agent.
About a sting operation that thwarted a plot to attack a Jewish synagogue in Aventura, Florida. James Medina allegedly approached the synagogue Friday with what he thought was a bomb. But members of the South Florida Joint Terrorism Task Force swooped in to arrest him. He appeared in court on Monday and was charged with attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction.
Undercover operatives made contact with him, and they were the ones who provided him with a fake bomb.
In the past several years, the government has lost several high-profile cases against either would-be extremist groups like the Governor Whitmer kidnap conspirators or alleged sophisticated prison criminal organizations, such as the recent acquittal of several suspected Mexican Mafia members.
The Mexican Mafia. From behind prison walls, they control tens of thousands of gangsters out on the streets.
We aspired to be the worst that we could be.
Mexican Mafia was born in the most violent prisons in California.
Who the government's well-promoted PR press conference alleged was in a co-partnership with a suspected drug cartel, La Familia Michoacána. You may remember in 2014, federal law enforcement agencies in Southern California announced the mass arrest of 13 individuals linked to the criminal alliance between the secretive prison-spawned Mexican Mafia and a Mexican drug cartel, La Familia Michoacána, to protect La Familia cartel members in prison and drug operations on the streets. In return, the Mexican Mafia allegedly was to collect monthly protection payments and exclusive drug wholesale discounts. Apparently, the same La Familia Michoacána members weren't happy with the deal and also made the same deal with other alleged factions of the Mexican Mafia, specifically the suspected Florencia 13 faction of the Mexican Mafia, allegedly run by Arturo Castellanos. Law enforcement apparently used the same tactic as in the Governor Whitmer kidnapping trial. They used the informants in 2 separate operations against 2 separate factions of the alleged Mexican Mafia. Then, when they did the arrest, rounded them all up together to give the much larger image of a much larger conspiracy. For 6 years, the notorious Mexican Mafia La Familia Michoacána alliance criminal case limboed in court until 2019, when a never-before in federal history court ruling was announced. The judge presiding over the Mexican Mafia La Familia case dismissed the case on the ground the jury was deadlocked. The Mexican Mafia members on trial defense team strategy was successful in attacking the government's informants' actions and credibility, convincing enough jurors the government's tactics and informants' hands-on role as the actual mastermind, supervisor, and financier of the government's concocted plan to entrap suspected members of the Mexican Mafia to take money, believing it was from some mysterious La Familia cartel members. In fact, the Mexican Mafia members' legal team was so proud of the victory, they posted the court acquittal document on social media platforms for everyone to see.
Nicholas Rosenberg here at the federal courthouse. Been in a federal trial for 7 weeks. My client is supposed to be the #1 person on the indictment, Jose Rodriguez, aka Fox Landa, supposed to be the head of a prison gang. Today, I and co-counsel got a not guilty on federal conspiracy to distribute.
The Mexican Mafia La Familia federal court case, which never actually presented any Mexican cartel members or representatives in the court case, because the same now ex-Mafia informant trying to broker the deal was also playing the role of the mysterious La Familia cartel members, also giving money provided by law enforcement in order to make the deal happen with the Mexican Mafia.
It turned out that the people who designed the plot, who came up with the idea of where to attack, who funded the operation, were FBI informants or FBI agents. They were embedded all the time in these plots. When these kinds of attacks happen, the FBI and the security state seizes on them to say, do you see? There's these grave dangers. We need more money. We need more power. We need more surveillance authorities in order to keep you safe. And so if they're the ones driving it, it leads to the question of what those motives are.
Right. Is it about the headlines, or are they...
Oddly, the case was more than a historical landmark case, giving victory to the Mexican Mafia members for the first time against federal prosecutors, because of no longer fearing self-incrimination as prison gang members by prison gang investigators due to the Pelican Bay gang leaders' court victory in the 2014 Ashker versus California governor settlement, which made it no longer legal for prison administrators to use suspected or gang membership as a reason to place individuals in solitary confinement for life. The suspected high-ranking members of the Mexican Mafia openly allowed their defense to publicly admit the existence of their clients' membership in the prison-based Mexican Mafia, which has never been done previously by any suspected Mexican Mafia members as a defense strategy. Even suspected leader of the Mexican Mafia's Florencia 13, Arturo Castellano, broke his silence during the court case drama, which Castellano never was officially charged in the federal indictment or received any state indictment charges, and published a public letter in a well-known prison reform platform, the Bayview, openly announcing his innocence, how the prison's COINTELPRO-like secret operation is falsely labeling him guilty without ever charging him directly in any indictments related to the Mexican Mafia activities, La Familia, or any Mexican Mafia Florencia 13 indictments. Following the acquittal of the Mexican Mafia La Familia federal court case that no mainstream media news outlets reported on, and celebrity or social media snitch influencers feel it's important to tell or clarify to their viewers when discussing the now proven informant fabricated Mexican Mafia La Familia Michoacána fake alliance. on their snitch influencer disinformation channels. The fabricated Mexican Mafia La Familia case didn't end with a no media coverage blackout historical not guilty verdict. A strange twist following the aftermath of the Mexican Mafia La Familia informant created phony alliance. The individuals charged and acquitted in the fabricated federal case filed a lawsuit against the informants and specific federal agents in charge of the operation, who happened to be suspected Mexican Mafia informant Ralph Perico Rocha, and one of the Mexican Mafia's longtime members who's been secretly provoking and then informing on others since his early years as a Mexican Mafia member, Michael Delia. Included in the lawsuit filed by Fred Montoya, a suspected Mafia member or associate, was also ATF agent and soon to retire John Saccone, whose retirement coincidentally set off a chain of events leading to the now ex-former president of the well-established Mongols Motorcycle Club, Little Dave, exposed as a possible high-ranking echelon informant for John Saccone and the FBI. The outlaw has no current status on the lawsuit by suspected Mexican Mafia members or associates, but believe, if not already, will be dismissed eventually. Side note, Outlaw Posse, Little Dave, the most likely suspected ex-bike club president echelon informant, appeared on undercover agent provocateur Gil the American Pocho, YouTube Chicano conformist channel, to plead his innocence, with some no direct answer and vague excuse that he's not some biker snitch influencer for the ATF. Gil proudly defended and champions Little Dave's cause, while hypocritically shaming others who use their platform or influencer status to hood certify snitch influencers or their con artist boxing event.
And the sad part is you're coming at me and you're fucking dealing with some scum of the earth. You're dealing with the Sonny boy that I fucked with wouldn't have NF dropouts fucking with them. Guys who testified in court. Guys who fucking were informants. What happened to you, homie? What happened to the G Code?
Also to the homies, stories written by current prisoner.
You're going to tell me, and this is no knock at Savage, that you had no kind of talk with Savage?
I had spoken to Savage when he first came out, when this whole YouTube thing was barely starting, right? We had a conversation.
After he knew it was a 2.5, correct?
I want to say he said he was not a 2.5, that he used to be. Yes, he said he wasn't no more. But after he went on his rampage, I was already done talking to him, and you know why. But
why did? Because he supposedly, okay, somebody disrespected your home.
Yes.
And he stepped up for him. So let's be truthful about it.
Yes. And I
okay.
called.
But that's the only reason you had an argument with him.
And whatever it is.
Do you guys not talk to anybody that's on the SNY yard?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Do you?
Really?
Yeah. Who do I
really?
talk? Who?
Why is everybody quiet over there?
Who? Who's everybody?
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about both of you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't you talk to somebody? I'll tell you who.
They called Kilroy. Kilroy told me, call, see who this guy is. So I call up this guy, Pete, and his name's Pete Bollinger. And I go, hey, Pete, what's going on? I'm Paul, and I'm from More Creative Films. And he's all, I'm Pete. I'm from Cedar Films. And he goes, I'm a filmmaker. And he goes, yeah, man. So I started telling him about the movie I'm going to do and this and that. He's all, hey, man, need any help?
My name is Peter Bollinger, and I'm the owner of Police and Fire Publishing. Yeah, my name is PJ Bollinger, and I'm the executive producer of this movie Monstro, Cholo Zombies 2, basically.
My concern for all of you guys, and I'm talking about Rojo, Flaco, all them guys. I am heartfully concerned for your guys' safety.
Today's Kalecha Outlaw Posse, don't just believe whatever some fake news, gang, or terrorist squad indictment on television are espousing, or especially what some snitch influencers are gossiping and fear-mongering about to brainwash you on YouTube. Demand documentation, such as, was there an actual conviction, not just your well-promoted PR press conference and vague news stories? Or pay attention to the actual news stories or snitch influencers as they quietly mention the real role the informant is playing in the instigating and encouraging the terrorist plot or gang activities they're supposedly preventing.
Got a check for not wearing masks. And we're not even supporting this shit, but we're just out here for the fuck of it, man. Huh? I can do whatever the fuck I want. Stop it. Don't get your boyfriend beat up, man. Huh? Excuse me? Excuse me? Get the fuck out of here, man. If you're not here for Black Lives, get the fuck out of here. Wow. Let's go. Hey, bro. I don't want to go for shit. She's tripping. That bro was tripping up us up. Hey, he's fucking.
Google it and see if news stories or snitch influencers fear-mongering fairy tales add up to actual reports.
So they debrief and they give up everything. To this day, I'm almost positive there's somebody there that tells what he knows or what he hears, but don't want to go to the mainland. He stays in the shoe. You know, affiliated or a member.
Because one day the next big so-called terrorist plot or major prison gang indictment could have you, your loved one, or some neighbor's kid who some treacherous informant provocateur manipulates while too high on weed and hyped up on video games, or too naive to believe the individuals who mysteriously appear in the hood, asking questions and demanding money, are some real prison gangsters who will then entrap everyone they recently met in some fabricated terrorist plot or alleged prison gang indictment, facing some serious federal prison time. The outlaw doesn't encourage physical or verbal confrontation with snitch influencers. We drop glecha in stories so you learn how fake the media-created gangster image and culture is, how it's always been infested by informants who really provoke more than prevent crimes. So you, the viewers, learn to spot and avoid these treacherous individuals who are a primary reason our communities are so racially divided and rampant with chaos today.
For about how long did you operate as an informant? About how long?
I'd say between middle of '69 to September 16.
When did you stop, approximately?
Right in September 16.
Of last year?
This last year.
Now, why did you come forward today to disclose all this information?
For this simple reason because don't you see that by using informers, that divide our people. See, they have used the method of divide and conquer. That's how they have succeeded in dividing our people today.
How many demonstrations do you think are caused by?
0.9%.
Demonstrations or violence?
All of them.
So you, the youngster audience, learn gangster rap, movies like American Me, and especially today's popular YouTube snitch influencers are created to social engineer you to subconsciously like being some self-destructive problem to your community instead of a solution. If you liked Outlaw's video today, the content, and also believe there should be more non-biased, snitch influencer perspective-free alternatives to prison and street lore, then hit the like or sub and spread the chisme to your homies that the Outlaw is serving that fire content to all the social media glecha junkies. And join the Outlaw for our next video debunking the longtime myth, actives don't talk. Yeah, you heard right, actives don't talk, including a pre-Joe Morgan Mexican Mafia coup document the snitch influencer community doesn't want you viewers to know exist. Remember, words are the sword of revolution, and your support is a mighty sharpening stone. The Outlaw, the YouTube renegade, is over and out. Y venceremos.
This is between what the media was portraying and what the research was actually putting out.
Absolutely. It was incredible. Like, the research and what law enforcement puts out are diametrically opposed.